Hi Casey, my name's Lucy and I'm going to be your counselor today. I'm an intern here at the office, and so what we're going to do today is just kind of talk about some things you're going through. For this first session, you're going to be doing most of the talking and I'm going to be doing the listening just to get to know you more. And with that being said, anything you say in these walls stays here, and it's just between me and you. But I will say, if you say anything about harming yourself, harming others, or know about some sort of abuse going on, I will have to report that just for safety of you and others. So tell me why you're here and a little bit about yourself.
Okay. Well, let's see. I guess I'll talk about how overwhelmed I guess with school. So I'm only taking 12 hours here at UT, which I enjoy my classes. I'm a psychology major, but at the same time I get a little overwhelmed with the load and the papers, the tests, and everything. So it's hard for me. So it's difficult to talk, but recently they've been scheduling me full-time, like 35 hours to 40, which I mean I don't mind. I recently moved out into my own apartment. My parents, they moved to Nashville, so I stayed here in Knoxville. And it's hard for me to like keep the hours at work because I know I have to pay rent, I have to pay my power bill, but I can't cut my hours because I mean all these things are due. So it's hard for me to kind of like be able to cut my hours and focus on school. So
Yeah, I mean, it seems like you have a lot of very anxiety-producing things in your life, like such as the 12 hours at school and then this job, but you have to like work to pay for rent, power, because you need shelter. That's one of the main things we need in life. So that is very overwhelming, like you said, to just have all these factors and they all kind of build up, especially at this time when you have like, it seems like everything's due, like all the midterms are due or the exams, all the papers. So it is a lot all at once, as well as the added job, as well as rent and all that. And your parents moving, is that transition hard from having them be so close to now 3 hours away?
definitely. I mean, when I was little, we all used to live in Nashville, but then we all moved to Knoxville, and then they moved back to be closer to family. So I stayed here, and it seems like all my family is in Nashville, but I'm here. And it's definitely hard because I'm so used to like coming home and, you know, hey mom, this happened today, and I'm really stressed, and her being, oh, you know, don't worry. And I can call them because I'm really close to my parents, and I can call them and, you know, tell them why I'm overwhelmed, and they can tell me why they're overwhelmed. But it's just kind of not the same. Like I miss the face-to-face. Like, I need a hug, mom, rather than, you know, okay,
Yeah.
I'm just talking to you on the phone.
Right. That level of like comfort is kind of gone. Do you have any siblings here, or are they all back in Nashville?
No, I don't have any siblings. So that's I guess it's kind of a little bit.
One more like added thing on top of
Yeah.
everything, that you're kind of by yourself in this new period of life.
I mean, I have friends that I can go to and friends I can talk to, which is a great source. But I mean, it's definitely harder when I can't, you know, come home to my mom and dad and like, hey, you know, I'm having a rough day. And I mean, even them, like if they're having a bad day and I can't really do anything about it, like that makes me feel bad. And it's just, I guess it's more difficult at work, I guess. I mean, it's a pretty easygoing job. I mean, I enjoy working at Target for the most part. I mean, it has its perks, it has its downs, but it's really hard for me to put school in front of my work because I feel, I don't know, maybe that I don't want to ever call in if I have like a test the next day and I really need to study. Like I never want to like call them and say, hey, I can't come in because I don't want to like let them down. So it's hard for me to, put school first when I have work as a number one priority in my mind. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so trying to find that balance between work and school.
Right. And my parents are really supportive. Like they tell me, they'll let me quit my job if I need to. They can help me out financially, which is, I appreciate them so much.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, like I don't want to put another financial burden on them.
Mm-hmm.
They have things to pay for too. Like I want to be able. I guess it's kind of mentality in my mind that, oh yeah, I want to pay for things myself.
Mm-hmm.
I want to like be able to be an adult and not, have others pay for me while I'm only going to school, if that makes sense.
It does, yeah, because you've already made the transition into college, and like that from going from high school to college is its own like independence, almost shock. And you're almost done with school, you've almost got your degree, and so with that, it's kind of like you don't want mom and dad like financially with you, always like supporting you, so you're trying to establish yourself as like your own person, and I think that's admirable. And just kind of moving on and finding that balance between work and school.
Yeah, I definitely agree. It's hard to find balance. And I'm not like a straight A student. Like I try and put as much effort as I can, but I get B's, some C's here and there. But I've never failed a class at UT. So recently, I guess with so many hours at work, recently I got an email from one of my professors, and she's like, hey, I need to talk to you about your grade. You're not doing well. So, I need you to come in and see me. So then as soon as I got that email, I called my work and I said, hey, I can work this week out, this many hours, but, I really can't do anymore because I'm starting to do really bad at school. So that was really stressful to me to, get that email that I was, not doing well. And it's just like a history 242, like a basic, intro class.
Mm-hmm.
So it was hard for me to, accept that I'm not doing good in school because all these other things are going on.
Right. Your first priority at this age, I think, is school. So I think you should be able to go to your work and be like, hey, like, I can't do this. What's your position at Target?
Really, I'm just like a team member. I work in the fitting room. I like do all the clothes and everything.
Yeah. So I feel like just being kind of like, I need to like take a step back. I think they would be very respectful and open to that, just because you're a student, you're here to be a student. So, but that is stressful about your teacher in that class, but that's great that you have a teacher that's looking out for you. That's very cool. I've never heard of that before.
I know, yeah.
So that's really cool that you have those classes that you may not be doing so well, but you do have that support system to fall back on, like with the professor and also your parents. Even though they're not right here, but you still have that system in place for.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. And I did go to work and I talked to them about it. And they were definitely understanding. Like I had to call them one day and they're like, okay, that's fine. But at the same time, I feel like even though I talked to them about it, they're able to be like, yeah, I understand, but they don't really do anything about it. Like I'll tell them I need to cut my hours, but then like, okay, well we're just worried about Target. We're not really worried about, other people. Does that make sense? I know that might not be true, but
yeah,
it's just difficult for me to like, I'll stand up for myself in the aspect that I need to cut my hours back. But if they don't do it, it's hard for me to like voice it a second or third time.
Mm-hmm.
So
you feel like they're viewing Target as like the corporation, like to make money, and you're like just a tool in like the making money big business system. That is hard because you almost feel invaluable in your job, and no one should ever feel that way. After you graduate, are you thinking about staying on with Target, or would you want to like move up in your position, or just say bye-bye Target?
I was thinking, I don't know really what I wanted to do. I was thinking after, my bachelor's, taking a break. But I think I want to maybe go into like a crisis center if I can. I know I might not be able to do any sort of psychology or counseling with just a bachelor's. I mean, maybe something in the field, but maybe not something, directly counseling or psychology.
Mm.
So it's something that I really want to do, but it's something that requires a lot of school that I don't think I'm ready for. So.
Yeah. Well, I think a break would be good. After like 4 years of just kind of feeling overworked and overwhelmed with school. Feeling overworked and overwhelmed with school. That could be good for you to just take a break off and just kind of like recharge almost and kind of see, what do I want to do in my life? Because the benefit of being so young is that you have all these options, and the world is your oyster.
I definitely agree, and for a while, it's really negative, but I was like, the school isn't for me. Like, as soon as I got that email, the school isn't for me, like, I should just drop out now. Like, sometimes I'm like over-exaggerating with myself. I mean, not so much with others, but like if something happens to me, I'm very internally analytical of myself. So it's hard, I guess, for me to kind of realize I'm not doing so good in school.
Mm-hmm. And it is tough to be very like self-critical, but like you said, you have friends here that I'm sure would be more than happy to like talk you through it and just kind of be like, no, like we are all stressing with school. Like you're not alone in this. You're not alone. I bet you have friends that are working and are doing school, so that could be a cool way to like, you have community in that, and like you're not alone. We can like get through this together, and graduation day will be great because it's close.
Definitely. And my friend recently, she's a manager, and she was going to school as well. And she recently, she's going to a community college, but she recently dropped her classes. But she's a manager, so I looked and I was like, well, she's doing so well, but she's not in school. Like, I could do this. I could just move up in Target, but that's not something I really want to do. It's just kind of like a part-time job for me right now.
Right.
So.
But it would be hard seeing that the opportunity is available for someone.
Yeah, definitely. I guess another thing that I guess I could talk about would be the relationship I have with my boyfriend. We've been together for about 3.5 years, I think, something like that. I recently, he's the person I moved in with, so he's a great guy. I really enjoy his company, but he's also going through a lot. He recently lost his job, and so it's hard for me to kind of be able. He's the person to internalize his feelings, but I'm the person when I have something going on, I have like verbal vomit, and I have to talk about it, and I have to explain everything that I feel. So sometimes it's hard for us to get that find the medium there, and he'll want to maybe not talk about it, but I'm like pressuring him to talk about it. So if I feel a certain way, there's sometimes where I may feel bad about the way I feel when he might give me a negative reaction when I express my feelings, like, oh, I shouldn't feel that way. He doesn't mean to do that, but I'm like, oh, I feel this way, and they're just feelings, I can't help them, but at the same time, I feel bad for feeling this way,
So you're kind of not liking being honest with him?
Almost. Like, I always tell him how I feel, but it's really hard for me because I know that he might get upset because he might put like all of my feelings on himself, like everything is his fault. But I'm not trying to load stuff on him or like tell him, I'm feeling this way because of him. Like, I mean, I'm just telling him and then I'm okay. So, but I think he may feel that I'm really upset with him for some reason or that it's all his fault.
So you're kind of just having a hard time unloading about your day without him taking it personally or offended by it.
Definitely. And sometimes, it'll be difficult for us to spend time together because, I'm at work and school and, he has his friends he hangs out with. So sometimes I get upset, if we can't spend some time together, and I never want him to feel, bad about not spending time with me, so it's hard for me to express that I want to spend time with him. If he has other plans, I don't want to, ruin his plans, telling him that I want to. So that's a little difficult sometimes.
Yeah, being that balance between being open and realizing he has other friends, and then at the same time wanting to just hang out at home and just like be with each other as like boyfriend and girlfriend.
Right. Yeah. And I think we're pretty healthy in a way, because we each have our own set of friends, and I think it's good that, we don't have to spend all our time together. Even though we live together, it's really easy for me to like go in one room, him to go in another, and us, not be like stuck together all the time. So I think we're pretty good in that aspect, if I want to go out with my friends and he wants to go out with his friends. But if he wants to come along, I want to come along, that's okay too. But if not, then hey, we're okay.
Very healthy boundaries between, and it's very like inclusive too. It's not like my friends. It's very like welcoming into each friend group, which is good.
Definitely. So it's good that we have our own set of friends, but at the same time, like they're our friends if we want them to be. Like, if his friends want to come over, like, oh, okay, yeah, that's cool. My friends want to come over, okay, yeah, that's cool. We all get along, so that's really good and healthy for us, I guess.
Yeah. How long have you lived together now?
Let's see, probably about 6 months. We moved in August, right before school started, so I guess.
Yeah, sounds about right. 6 months. That's good, and that's good that, because that is kind of still new, as to be living with someone, to not be like almost suffocating them, be like, why aren't you spending all your time with me?
Right.
So that sounds really great that you do have these like very like free boundaries between like each other and like your friends. So that sounds healthy in that aspect.
Yeah, it definitely is healthy. We both, have our little disagreements here and there, but that's, I guess it's normal, maybe. Like, we definitely don't have them every day, which, I would never want us to be, like, stuck in a position of, constantly unhappy, constantly fighting with each other, so
right.
It's good that we kind of recognize that.
How often, when you say you like, is it a daily thing or like a weekly thing when you tell him about what's going on and he kind of internalizes that. Is that something that happens like sporadically, or is it more continual?
It's kind of maybe it might also be me because I'll be like, hey, like tell me how you're feeling because I mean I've known him for a good while, so I usually know like by his face if he's upset. So I'll ask, what's going on, and when someone else is in a bad mood, like he kind of puts the bad mood on you. So that happens sometimes, and I'll ask him, what's going on, and he just like won't give me anything, which bothers me and makes me feel like he doesn't want to talk to me about how he's feeling. But at the same time, like he tells me that's just how he is.
Yeah, so it's kind of like wanting to be caring about him and want to know what's going on, but not wanting to make him feel like on the spot or like alienated and like I have to share everything, like all my itty bitty emotions.
Mm-hmm.
So